Backstage buzz, we prep for the sound. The curtain falls and the crowd's all round. The night's still young and the stage is set. Our voice is ready, no time for regret. Wisdom and laughter in a verbal embrace. Tonight we're ruling this electric space. What a dream when it's time for art. Diving deep in after-show debates. Acolyte with hot takes so contentious. Hearts race on, our pulse relentless. Yeah, we're alive with every mic. Yeah, like the stars and like the night. Yeah.
Is that Jay Shotblast?
Oh,
It's been 20 years. Welcome back to the Aftershow Podcast. It's been approximately 84 years since our last episode. We unfortunately had to take 1 week off because we both were in a galaxy far, far away. But we're back. We're probably rested. I know I am. And we're here to make up for lost time and talk about all the stuff that's been going down because time kept moving forward and shit got crazy. So
before we get too far, I just wanted to say I didn't have a chance to hang this yet, but the background is going to get updated very soon.
Boo.
So
yeah, no one wants to see that.
we'll have that hanging in the background very, very soon. Just for you.
I hope it falls and Evie eats it.
I'm like so thirsty. I drank this whole 64-ounce cup of water.
Ooh.
And then refilled it. Peed in between.
As you should.
But
got to drink that water. Actually,
the countdown to the next pee is officially on.
Where's my? Actually, got to find my water bottle, but I try to get my gallon in every day.
Yeah,
it's good for the body, good for the soul.
I drink we have a water cooler, so it's like one of the first things I got when I got the house, and we go through 5 gallons of water like so fast. I just destroy it. Like I have so much. That's why I have to pee all the time. I can never stop drinking. I'm like always thirsty. So
yeah, I have an alkaline filter, but that's pretty fun. I enjoy the water cooler. Something romantic about the water cooler, you know.
Yeah, right.
Hanging around, talking shit about what happened over the weekend, refilling your little tiny plastic cup. It's good times. Good times.
That's how it goes. So
we have a lot to go over, but first we have to say what's up to our beautiful chat. Speaking of beauty, we got Eastwood first in line. What's up, my friend? What's up, Steven? We got Travis in the building. Marvel, what's up, Simple J? Appreciate all you hanging out. What's up? What's up, Connor? What's up, King? Hope everyone is enjoying this fine Sunday evening on the Lord's Day of Rest. We got a ton to go over. Last time we had the Marvel Rivals special Gamescom event that has since ended, but we had people giving their impressions about playing with the new characters, Captain America and Winter Soldier. Jay Shockblast is a PC enjoyer, so he got to play a little bit of that. There was a little bit of drama in that program that maybe we could talk about.
I have no idea. Like, honestly, no idea. I pop in there from time to time, but I've seen enough to like not really focus too hard on what's in there.
Yeah, probably good call, but it personally I find it occasionally entertaining.
Yeah.
Of course, we got some fresh Black Myth Wukong drama because that game is just attracting all sorts of wackiness. There was, first the culture war stuff, then of course the game being a massive hit, particularly in China, and then it sparked this whole civil war between insiders who are arguing about whether or not there was an exclusivity deal. It's a lot. It's a lot going on.
Yeah, I think Travis, that's the best thing. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, we're gonna discuss the things we like and the things we dislike, but I don't feel like either Sadat or I, when we're talking about it, we're doing it like with the intention of hurting anything. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like when we talk about stuff, like whether we like it or don't like it, we're just giving our opinion. It's not like we're gonna sit here and shit on Concord, like for the purpose of hey, everybody, look at us shit on Concord. You know what I mean?
Except for when I'm talking about LeBron James or the Boston Celtics.
I mean,
absolute hate in my heart.
Listen, let me tell you, I'm the biggest hater. I fucking love that whole, like, I am now like such a big Kendrick Lamar fan. I like through the whole back catalog. Like,
I absolutely love this for Jay.
Yeah, I just respect how much he hates Drake.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I really like, and I have nothing against Drake. I've never been a fan, but like I have no I mean, I guess if the shit he's saying is really true, like sure, I hate him, but like, man, that dude is just, I would never, like, he scares me.
He should.
Like, the boogeyman stuff is legit. Like, just, I don't know. Anyway, that's another story for another day.
There's a reason J. Cole respectfully bowed out of the beef right after he dissed Kendrick Lamar, and before Kendrick could even say anything back, he got on stage and apologized and said, "I don't know what."
I almost, like, I'm kind of glad that I got to kind of watch it all after a little bit, but like I remember when it was happening. Like, I was on Twitter that night and people were going crazy. And I'm like, oh man, I wish I understood all this. And now I do.
Yes.
And holy.
now you understand the significance.
Yeah. But like, back to what we were saying, like, in terms of video games, like, we like what we like, we don't like what we don't like. I'm never gonna, like, I am more likely to just not talk about games I dislike than shit on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll bring up stuff that is newsworthy, but otherwise, if there's something I'm not interested in at all, then I'm not going to bring it up, except Call of Duty, just to make fun of COD players.
I have to, I got a beta key from Activision. Thanks, Activision. Appreciate you.
Ooh,
chill. So I do need to try it out. I'm worried that I'm just going to get absolutely polished.
You will.
Because I'm not a COD guy anymore, but like when Activision is like, hey, do you want Call of Duty? And you're like, yeah. I mean, I literally have like all of them. So yeah.
Cheeks will be spread. Now, finally, Steven asking the real important questions. What anime are you watching? I'm currently watching Berserk: The Golden Age arc, and even though you're 2 episodes in, you can already tell that this is peak. I'm watching a lot of different anime right now. I do that every season. I haven't gotten to watch a lot today. I had a video to make. Of course, I had to take my nap, and then I had to prepare for the podcast. But I did get to watch a little bit of the new season of Keegan Ashura, and I made sure I caught the latest episode of Wisteria, Wand and Sword. Currently, my favorite anime of 2024. Also a big fan of course, Dahlia in Bloom. That's another new banger to share, as well as I Parry Everything. Some really great anime as usual, but I'm also starting to read more, Jay. I know people don't read really anything anymore, but I figured it's been a while since I at least caught up on some manga. So I was so I spent last night powering through Jujutsu Kaisen because that manga is ending, and I want to actually be able to get to the end of that before it starts. Also started a new manga, Kagurashi, which is supposed to be the next big thing, along with Sakamoto Days. So I'm doing a little book reading. You know, also planning my book that I hope to one day write that I never can seem to finish. I always have an idea for a book. I start the outline phase, then I don't do anything, and then I come up with another idea, and we just start the process all over again.
Are you gonna call it Somehow I Manage?
Somehow, I was gonna call it the autobiography of Jay Shockblast, but
that was an Office reference. So sorry. Michael Scott's autobiography was called Somehow I Manage.
Good Office trivia, Jay.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
but I do want to write a Jay Shockblast autobiography.
I don't think you know what that word means.
I do.
Anyway, so gaming, lots of stuff to talk about.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Jay brought up his favorite game, Concord, of course. Which
listen,
not having a good week.
I would never talk about the fact that even Redfall did better, but
yeah, well, Xbox. I mean, fans,
according to Steam,
Xbox fanboys certainly were. they will not let the fact that that Redfall flopped slide.
Well, I mean, it is crazy. Like, I feel bad. I really feel bad for that studio.
I mean, the more I read about the Concord situation, the more just insane the whole thing seems that this game was allowed to cook for 8 years.
I can't believe it was that long, actually.
Literally 8. That's longer than Suicide Squad. This was when this was around they were developing this game around the time Overwatch first made its debut.
Yeah.
This is the fact that I have no idea what the fuck Jim Ryan was smoking before he took his golden parachute and sailed off and went off into the sunset. But I mean, if you look, we're looking at his live service legacy. So far, we have Helldivers 2, which they stumbled ass backwards into, and currently that game is struggling to get back its player base. You have Foam Stars, which crashed and burned. You have Concord, which is shaping up to be the biggest live service failure of all time, just in terms of scale and potential money lost. You have Fair Games, which is the other Concord-like game that they haven't showed gameplay yet, but the first trailer, I remember they showed it. It had a similarly negative perception as that Concord got. It basically looks like if the Saints Row reboot and Payday had a baby, which might be terrible, but so we'll still have to see the gameplay.
How is that game in development for 8 years?
The most baffling thing to me is that they allowed that game to just keep going for 8 years, but they canceled Spider-Man: The Great Web and Twisted Metal.
That's wild. Like, I don't understand though. Like let's just okay. One of my biggest complaints about Concord is the absolute lack of stuff.
Yeah,
like it's very stripped down. There's like not even like they, for some reason, they launched it without, in a season 0, without like seasonal content to like get going with. And I don't know when that actually comes out. Are they even? I would actually argue they might not even make it to season 1. Like, it's not just as a failure as a live service. It is like a failure, like one of the biggest failures in video games.
Legitimately, this is a big budget live service game because they not only just because it's a live service game, they spent 8 years making, but it has really like high quality cutscenes, which are very expensive, and they committed to releasing a new one of those every week for some reason.
I think this is really really it.
Wait, what?
I do this thing where my new mouse has these buttons on the side, and when I swung my hand, it hit the button, and it's the back button, and I think I need to turn that off because you have no idea how many times I back my way out of things.
Yeah, people meme on Avengers. Avengers wasn't even close to this bad. Avenger
Yeah.
we got some numbers. So just by looking at event compared to the Avengers for the meme, Concord peaked after launch. It peaked at 700 players on Steam. 700. That was the
All-time peak 660.
Yeah.
Playing an hour ago, 97.
Avengers on Steam peaked at about 34,000. Should be 33,000, 34,000 for Marvel's Avengers on Steam. If you look it up.
Marvel's there are actually more. There's almost twice as many people playing Marvel's Avengers right now than there are Concord.
Which absolutely checks out because it's Avengers
28,000 all-time peak.
Yeah, that's the all-time peak for Avengers, around that. And in the first month, because it did much better on console, Avengers sold 4 million copies. So that is not even close. The only live service game that you can compare Concord's failure to are Redfall and another fall game, Babylon's Fall.
But even Redfall had an all-time peak of almost 1,600, and there are currently 24 people playing it compared to 97 for Concord.
So
now.
So I'd say Redfall is definitely the best comparison because 1,600 is fucking horrendous.
Sure.
But the issue is that people were like, oh well, maybe it's doing better on PlayStation. So they're estimating that total the game launched with 25,000 players total.
Yeah, I heard that. I will say it's tough to compare Xbox first party games though, because on PC I would imagine you would just play it through Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
Versus Steam.
Yeah, that's the difference. Redfall was also a Game Pass game, so it definitely, obviously, it didn't have, which is another separate issue. But regardless, even with the Game Pass, Redfall did not perform well enough to justify continued support. That's why the plug eventually got pulled. But Concord, I mean, this is historic levels of disaster, and it's not. Like, I believe the Gollum game actually outperformed it on Steam at launch, and which is considered arguably the worst at least one of the worst games ever made. And the thing is, Concord isn't a bad game from what I've obviously High Ruler loves every Cursed Live Service game, but everyone that I heard played it said it's not a bad game, and the reviews mostly reflect that. The issue is that they obviously think the character designs are horrific, which they are, and that just the game doesn't really bring anything new to the table, doesn't really have a compelling hook, and on top of the fact that it's got a $40 price point when its competitors are not only better games, but they're also free to play.
Yeah, and I here's what I'll say from my experience playing Concord. It's like I really like it looks good, it feels good, it looks the part, it feels the part. The characters are really weird, and a lot of them when I'm playing they feel very cheap. Like when a lot of times when I die, it's like, man, that felt cheap. Like there's a few characters that can kind of fly a little bit.
Yeah.
And like they're cheese. Like I feel like half the time when I die, it's like to cheese. And I don't love games like that, especially right out the rip, you know?
Yeah, I played about an hour of the beta, and yeah, I thought the graphic quality was obviously really high, but when I played, there was literally one game mode,
Yeah.
and And I'm like, okay, well, if this game mode isn't hitting, then that's pretty much it. And even then, it's probably going to get tiring because we're just on this map, we're on this game mode, and I was just scrolling through the different characters trying to get a feel for it, and I wasn't really feeling most of the characters, not even just the designs, but the gameplay wise. I thought I felt like the weapons and abilities just felt bad and just not very good. And I was about an hour and a half, about an hour in. I was just like, yeah, I'm just not interested in this. This didn't feel like, especially when I was keeping in mind this is a $40 game.
Right, and I played with Hyruler, and it was fun to play with him. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I had a good time, like when I played and when we were in a party together. But like when I wasn't, it was like, I don't really want to play this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like comparatively to Marvel Rivals, like I immediately just got hooked on that and would play even if I didn't have anyone to queue up with. But this was just like,
and I think the $40 price tag is also a huge deterrent. I think people would be more willing to pay that if you know they thought it was going to last. But I think anybody with a brain can look at it and realize I'm not going to pay $40 for this game to just be over before it even starts.
Yeah, legitimately, when like there was a lot of interest in Concord because people didn't know what it was, and they heard Guardians of the Galaxy, and people love Guardians of the Galaxy, and then as soon as the gameplay hit, I feel like everyone collectively was like dead on arrival.
Yeah, because that was like the biggest okie doke ever, because like we all saw that trailer and we're like, oh shit, this looks good. Like, I can't wait to play this open world RPG heist game. And then it was what?
Oh, a dated hero shooter. Okay. Next.
And hero shooters aren't like automatically bad, but like, you're going up against way too many right now.
And not even just hero shooters, like Valve just dropped their new game, which is still in beta, but it's called Deadlock, and it's a MOBA, so not quite a hero shooter, but it looks really cool. It's third person action, and it's doing massive numbers, and then now you have a Forever Winter, which is this new survival game, which looks pretty cool. That marketed itself as like the anti live service slot game, and then you have just Concord sitting here. Like there's nothing, there's no hook. There are more people making fun of Concord being woke allegedly than actually playing the game. This was definitely, if you're one of those people, which is insufferable on Twitter. They were having quite a week, because not only did we have Concord, but we had Dustborn also release.
I have that.
You actually got it?
I don't know anything about it. They're sending me the collector's edition. Yeah, and I got sent a code.
So Dustborn is the other culture war game that recently came out. It's basically it's kind of like Life is Strange. It's like a sci-fi music game where this group of diverse individuals travel across post-apocalyptic America. I mean, post-war Civil War America, using their special abilities of manipulation to gaslight Trump supporters and call them racist. And their robots involved or somehow.
So somebody, a publicist hit me up and they're like, hey, we'd really like to send you the collector's edition of our game, Dustborn. And I was like, sure. Yeah. And then I got hit up with, while we're waiting for that to ship out, we've got a code for you so you can start playing right away. And it just happened to come like the same day as Outlaws. So I'm like, oh,
that time.
Yeah. So I got to get to it at some point. Well, I honestly had no idea what it was, but isn't it like Remedy or something?
No.
Somebody that,
I believe it's Red Thread. They're a smaller studio. They so from what I've seen from the reviews, uh, it's not the most polished game, and even reviewers think that the political messaging is a little heavy-handed.
Yeah.
But I've only seen clips of gameplay, including like the song that they sing in like the opening, which is one of the worst songs I've ever heard in my life.
Oh my god.
But
Oh my god. I blindly said yes.
I
I
mean,
might
it might make good content.
listen, I might just stream it once, so I can say I did it. Like,
You should,
hey, look,
no, you should absolutely stream it.
I'm like,
might
you
be good
you
content.
sent this to me and I played it. Gonna be honest, it's not what I was expecting or for me. But we'll see.
No, you should definitely play it, Jay.
I actually, Travis, it's funny you mentioned Veilguard. I actually, when I was at Summer Game Fest, I got all these like patches for some of the Xbox games.
I'm actually looking forward to trying Veilguard.
But I actually sat in on a demo for Veilguard. It's some of the stuff that they showed since then.
Right.
But like I got to watch them, like the game director presented a little bit of a playthrough of getting up to what's his face, the evil dark elf guy.
Right.
So it looks really good.
See, I'm just a fan of fantasy RPGs where I'm not taking my turn and going through menus to attack. Like give me a cool fantasy RPG, you know, mature rated with some, you know, cool combat and, you know, some romance options and some quests and adventuring. And
I loved Dragon Age 2 and I loved Dragon Age Inquisition. When I bought my house, I actually had like they had these I think it was in Inquisition, but they had these like tarot card art pieces in the game, and I had some of them on my wall. Like I bought like their limited edition prints because I just love the art style. I have one of Cassandra and one of the little elf with the bow and arrow. Very gay. I don't remember her name, but
I feel like Dragon Age is definitely a divisive one among the fans. So I feel like if you love Inquisition especially, you'll probably love Veilguard, but
Sarah, yes.
I never played any of the Dragon Age games before, but I really enjoyed Dragon's Dogma 2, and obviously Fable 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. So I've been looking for like kind of a fantasy RPG action game to scratch that itch that, you know, I love, because I love the story of Baldur's Gate 3, but the combat just really put me off. So I'm hoping that Veilguard can at least kind of do that for me. Space Marine 2 also looks pretty fun. I'm looking forward to trying that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I listen. What's TT Games doing?
Lego stuff.
They did just announce today Harry Potter,
the Lego collection
remastered, $40, gives you all the games, all the DLC. And if you already own it on PS4 or Xbox One, those versions, you will get a discount.
Ooh.
So
sounds nice. It's nice to just hear about some Harry Potter games without anyone yelling about Nazis or J.K. Rowling.
Well, Cloud.
So that is a nice change of pace for me, at least for me. I haven't seen anything.
All I'm gonna say, Cloud, is but I actually have had people complaining about this all day. Like, not a lot of people, but like they're like, it's such a cash grab. I'm like, well, it's a 10 to 12-year-old game. Like, it's $40. Like, they remastered it. Like, it shouldn't be free. They spent money to like make it better. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, buy it or don't.
Why are you complaining about a remaster? If you don't want it, don't buy it. What do you mean? It's an old, it's literally an old game. Like, if you want a new Harry Potter game, you have Hogwarts Legacy right there. You have the Quidditch game coming out in a few days. Like why are you complaining about a remaster?
Listen, Cloud. All I'm going to say is there's going to be a day where you're going to remember this podcast. That's all I'm going to say. So play it cool, but that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, you'll remember this podcast when Jay Shockblast is on stage presenting at the Game Awards with Jeff Keighley.
Listen, I hope the Game Awards, but who knows? Who knows? I've always been told that TT Games is kind of alone on an island, literally England.
Yep.
But like, nobody knows what they're doing at any point in time,
except for Jay Shockblast.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, most of the people I know at TT are gone, so they are now working on Funko Fusion, which, by the way, I finally found my He-Man. So, very, very excited. I have a little unboxing video I'm going to post tomorrow. Funko Fusion comes out in less than 2 weeks on the 13th.
Indeed.
There are special Funko Fusion Funko Pops, and if you get any of them, they come with a card which you can redeem for an exclusive in-game version of the character. Ooh. You don't have to get it. It's an alternate version of... So I'm going to get an alternate version of He-Man. Still get He-Man, but this is an alternate skin for him.
Right.
So, yeah.
So speaking of games Jay Shockblast is shilling for, NetherRealms was in the news recently because it appears that they are already at work on their next game, which, according to previous comments made by Mr. Boone, Jay Shockblast's best friend, is going to be Injustice 3.
I hope so.
Yeah, according to Ed, MK1 was not the original plan. They were actually going to do Injustice 3, but because they made a transition to a brand new engine and they got further slowed down by the pandemic, they ended up pivoting to MK1 because they felt that they could get that one out faster than they would just doing an Injustice game. But job postings are up. They're currently hiring for a new game. It's AAA. It's going to have, in-depth story cinematics. So everyone's putting two together and looking forward to Injustice 3. Now, Injustice 2, obviously everyone wasn't happy about all aspects of that. There are also people complaining about MK1, but let's be honest, if Injustice 3 gets announced, people are going to go crazy and it's going to make a lot of money.
I don't really understand, a lot of people right now are complaining about the new expansion that Mortal Kombat's about to get, and I understand people
don't like spending money
in the fighting game community, especially. They should be, but for some reason they're not used to the idea of DLC or expansions or anything like that. They feel like, I bought the game, I should have everything. Like, I shouldn't have to pay for more. I shouldn't have to pay. But this is something they developed extra on top of it. And when you look at it, you're getting 6 new characters, I believe, and a whole new expansion story. And they've been giving these invasions, like seasonal invasion. I think they're on season 6 of invasions that are free add-ons every season. You know what I mean? I don't understand, especially for Mortal Kombat. This is the 4th Mortal Kombat game that has had DLC characters that you have to pay for.
And it's not like it's the only fighting game that does it. I mean, there's literally DLC in Street Fighter 6. There's this is not a new thing in fighting games. Paid DLC. I mean, unless you play Brawlhalla or you're one of the remaining multiverses players. I don't understand. If you play Mortal Kombat, you should be used to DLC. I don't know.
9X, 11.
I don't know where these weirdos are coming from, but that's the game.
But and the price of the expansion is 2 or 3 skins in Fortnite. Like let's be real here.
Yeah.
It's like I don't love what they're doing with Cyrax and Sector, but I'm also not like I get it if it makes sense to do it in this version of Mortal Kombat where everybody is like an alternate variation of the characters, you know. So I mean, and you know, Conan looks sick,
Right.
and Ghostface is one of the most requested characters ever.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, I could have done without that Terminator, but I mean, for the most part, like, I don't know, this is all cool. People like those people still complain about like guest characters, and the guest characters are some of like the most popular ones. I can't even imagine Mortal Kombat 1 without Peacemaker, Omni-Man, and Homelander. Like,
Yeah, this is it's really which kind of just goes to show why a lot of the stuff on the conversation on social media should just be tuned out completely because
but Cyrax was always black. He was just a black dude. Like, they've shown Cyrax a few times. People are mad because they're both girls.
that's
Like,
one of it.
That's what they're mad about. They're
No,
mad that they're both girls.
Correction, they're both girls that they can't goon to.
Yeah.
They're not gooning. They're not goonable enough, so that's why they're mad. They don't just they only hate women if they can't jerk off to them.
And listen, I do think there's an argument there where they're like, well, why didn't you just do like Cassie or someone like that? Or what's Jax's daughter? I can't think of her name right now. But like, why didn't you just do them? But like,
that's literally a direct quote.
Well, that's exactly
from them.
That's how people felt about Star Wars Outlaws too.
Yeah, whatever.
A woman?
We have to play as a woman.
Yeah,
and
Jackie Briggs. Yeah.
And she's
Like,
not wearing a bikini.
A lot of people are like, why not just bring in Jackie and Cassie, right? And I get that. I mean, those were 2 popular characters in MK11, 2 of the more popular ones, I would say.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm with you, Noob. I got Noob. I wonder if Sean is doing Noob's voice again. The guy that did Spider-Man and Avengers.
That's been every guy's argument with him since they were 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to that sort of stuff, there was when I in the comment section of my Injustice video, I literally had people bitching about Injustice 3 saying it was going to be bad because of this whole gender bent thing in MK1. I'm like, fucking
I don't think they're going to do that in Injustice 3.
I'm like, even if they do, fucking take a shower. I don't care.
I'm curious if they're going to do the gear thing again.
Yeah.
I know I kind of liked it in Injustice because you could get all these different gear sets, but yeah, I don't know.
Everyone didn't. Yeah, everyone. It didn't vouch for everyone. I feel like if you're going to complain about games, it should be about the actual game itself. Like I feel like it's valid to be. If you personally didn't like the gear system, yeah, it's fair to wonder if they're going to add that in Justice 3. But I don't give a shit about people complaining about what if Sweet Baby's right. Shut up. I don't care.
I don't think Sweet Baby had anything to do with Mortal Kombat.
It had to, Jay, because Sweet Baby, as you know, is a giant multinational company and not a consultant agency of 10 people. Like, their hands are everywhere, Jay.
Yeah. That's probably true. I don't know. I don't know, man. I've been to NetherRealm a couple times, so I don't know. Maybe it's different for me. I've, hung out in Ed Boon's office, not in it, outside of it, but
they played, did a little wrestling together, stared in each other's eyes longingly.
I do think I kind of freaked Ed out once.
Because you were stalking him?
It probably felt that way because at Summer Game Fest last year, I saw him walking around outside, so walking into SoFi or walking into the YouTube theater, and I ended up going to where the actual Summer Game Fest event was, and I was just kind of hanging out, and he like drove in his vehicle, and like the driver stopped like his window was like right at me, So he just turned and looked at me and was like, "Oh, there's the guy I took a selfie with earlier."
He was like, "Oh no,
So
am I going to be kidnapped?"
yeah. So I mean, but what can you do?
I
Hold on.
personally would be happy to see Jay Shock less.
I would hope so.
I'm sure Ed Boon felt the same. He was just surprised at how lucky he was to run into you so soon.
I've actually met Ed Boon like 5 times. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, you're basically best friends, like
Sort of.
by now. I'd say that's how that works. If you meet someone more than 3 times, you're best friends.
Here it is right here. Let's not my best selfie face ever, but
I'll be the judge of that. I'd say that's definitely top 3.
yeah. So
I'd say +5 aura on that one for Jay Shock West. Very, very, very good selfie face, in my opinion. So
this one's a little better though.
Yeah, let's see this one.
Just
I like the other one better, but it's still a nice picture. So speaking of woke women in games, how did you enjoy Star Wars Outlaws? I heard you recently beat the game.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this conversation. I actually think I want to start getting back into doing like game reviews.
Mm-hmm.
I always just felt like I don't like the edit. Like, there are so many people that are really good at editing the video around a game review, and I am not. I'm just not, and I feel like that's the reason I've always stopped doing it is because I can never put it together the way I want to. But I want to review this game and Concord and start kind of doing that stuff. But I'll put it to you this way, okay? I got the game for free from Ubisoft. Thanks, Ubisoft creator, like Sadat.
Show.
Yeah, we're not, no spoilers, no worries. And then I bought the game for PlayStation 5 because my plan was I'm going to make all my videos and put them up, and whatever happens. And then I'm going to stream it on PlayStation after I beat it.
The superior console.
I returned it. I am never playing this game a second time. I don't dislike it, though. It's just, I'm not a stealth guy. I don't love stealth. And I've never felt so stressed in games. Like when I'm trying to sneak through an Imperial like station, specifically the Imperial ones, because like there's these alarms, right? And you have
which I disable.
Right. But in the Imperial stations, there's like 7 or 8 alarms. And if one of them goes off, they all go off. And you like have to basically turn off like all of them. Like it's unending. And then like there's just an unending amount of people that come after you. I beat the game fine and all that. But I don't like, no, I'm not a Splinter Cell guy. No, not at all. Yeah. I'm not a stealth gamer. And that's a me problem. I get that.
100%.
And I'm not.
That is definitely something to mention before. And this is definitely a game that you definitely need to have a certain sensibility and style, because obviously it's not a Jedi game, but it does lean heavily into stealth. And if that's not your thing, you're gonna have a tough time. Personally, I am a stealth gamer. Yeah. I enjoy the plotting my move, my perfect entrance, seeing how I'm going to take everyone out. I thoroughly enjoy that. Like that's some of my favorite things to do in the Spider-Man games. Like obviously people just when they're Spider-Man just love to just jump in, beat people up, but I love stalking and taking and seeing if I can take everyone out without making a sound. I'm very much, I love action, but I'm also very much stealth gamer. So
I actually like that about Spider-Man too.
Yeah. Yes.
But my big issue with this is it's almost specifically for the Imperial ones, like just those missions. Okay. Because I just feel like there have been times where like I randomly get caught for no reason when other times I could like literally walk right in front of them and they say nothing. right? Um, but like I randomly get caught. I've disabled an alarm, but there's another alarm like on the other side of another wall that's not that far away, and that one's still going off, and you can't like get to it in time to do anything, and you can see where it is, and you can't send Nix to go get it. Like my favorite thing to do is like to use the Nix grenade detonate because they never suspect you, you know? Like you could just sit there behind a wall and let Nix detonate all the grenades in the stormtroopers, and you can just clear out the whole base that way, you know? But like the alarms just annoy the crap out of me because like the alarm goes off and you can't get to it fast enough and you fail mission.
See,
Or
I didn't even bother to get that ability on Nyx, and I never had any issue with the stealth parts of the Imperial missions. I actually enjoyed those quite a bit, especially in the later has. But I could definitely understand why people would have some issues because my issue with the stealth was not that it has stealth because you know I am a stealthy gamer, but I just thought the stealth was janky. It was poorly implemented. Assassin's Creed games are, you know, very much stealth focused, but those are
love them.
very polished. They're very well done. They have attention to detail, you know, stuff like dragging bodies out of the way so you don't like they put a lot into it. Whereas to me, as someone who does enjoy stealth in different games and who relatively recently played Assassin's Creed Mirage, it was very apparent to me that the enemy AI was unbelievably stupid and the mechanics were just janky, and it was just like a lack of attention to detail. Like I pointed this out in my review because I decided to do a review style video of Outlaws, and I pointed this out. There seems to be like this delay when you trigger a stealth takedown from behind. It's about 2 seconds, and what sometimes happens is you go up, you trigger the stealth takedown, that delay kicks in because they have to also a pose to get it to go. But what happens is if they're in the process of turning around, they will sometimes just cancel the animation because of how long it takes, so that they
I
see
know what you're talking about.
so that they see you, and then they say hey, and then you have to then when you press square again, it's a normal melee attack instead of a takedown.
Yeah.
And then you just have to, you know, beat them unconscious and and hope it doesn't
and I felt like I did pretty good with the stealth stuff. Like it's not even that. It's not like I was bad at it. It was just like situations like that where like all of a sudden you got spotted out of nowhere, or like it canceled the animation, whatever it may be. And like now all this hard work you just did is gone.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you were like trying to 100% each location and find all the chests and everything, or if you were just getting in and getting out. I was trying to like find all the chests and all that. And I feel like I could always do that in the Assassin's Creed games. But like this one, it just felt like there were just stormtroopers everywhere. And it was just not always easy. Not even easy. It was just not always like, it sometimes just felt like ridiculously overwhelming, like the way that they were. Like, and sometimes when you like alert the alarms in other games, like you could defeat a few of the enemies and then, you know, turn off the alarm and you're fine. But like I felt like, especially in the Imperial bases, there were just enemies. There's like an unending supply of stormtroopers. And I also think it's really fucking weird that this petite 130-pound girl is running around punching stormtroopers in the helmet, and they're just like, yes, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, this is a common thing in Star Wars. Like stormtroopers have all this armor, but you can basically just punch them out. This Han Solo did this as well. Like it's a common thing in Star Wars. I'm not sure how that's supposed to work, but I was like, it's a Star Wars video game. It's stealth.
I believe this.
I wasn't thinking too much of it. Andrew was definitely stitching on the location. For me, I was going through the bases because I was trying to finish the story. So I was going through at a brisk pace, but I also felt like I was pretty much getting all the chests because I was just because I at that point in the game I had pretty much figured out how to basically just cheese through all the stealth sections of the game. So I never really had any issues there. It was just a matter of finding points of interest and seeing how I wanted to approach stuff.
Yeah, some of my bigger issues were definitely earlier in the game, but like everybody else, I'm sure I went hard in the paint for Crimson Dawn early, and their outfit that you get for like maxing out
Yeah.
it like has like tons of stealth stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I initially went hard in the paint for Crimson Dawn, but I didn't end up maxing them because like I guess I won't spoil the other faction, but that one had some really good stuff. I ended up maxing them, but what I ended up with was because I felt on my own I was already really good at stealth. I didn't really need extra beyond the skills I had already picked up. So I ended up making a build based on basically cheesing adrenaline because it's such a broken ability. So I made sure I was able to get a full set of gear that allows me to basically infinitely loop adrenaline. So anytime I get into a firefight or if I do get spotted and I have to quickly start shooting, I can literally just take everyone out immediately before they can do anything.
Yeah,
and it,
that's
and
cool.
it was just a really nice way to play.
I have maxed out 3 of the 4, and the only one I haven't maxed out at any point, like I've lost the maximum at points because of it, but
Yeah,
the only one I am not at max it is the pikes.
the pike. I feel like the pikes intentionally they made the hardest to get reputation on.
Yes, because on site I am like attacked constantly.
Yeah, like
It is on site.
on my second playthrough, I intentionally like fucked over the Dawn to improve my good fortune with the pikes, and I got to do a mission where I went through their territory and no one shot at me, and it was wonderful. And then I had to do a mission and I just went one time against the pikes, and it knocked me from good to poor. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know how, like I am literally at the absolute bottom. Like I'm at like minus 15 rep with them.
Yeah.
Like I'm like bad, like the worst possible rating. You have the absolute, like when maxing out, I'm maxed out in the other way. So I kind of just got to a point where it's like, all right, I'm just gonna, since I'm already at the lowest I can be, I'm just always gonna go against the pikes to get everybody else up so I can get all their gear. So I have like 3 of the 4 gear sets, and now I'm like, all right, now I got to come back with the pikes. So
to me, it just feels like you just don't get as many opportunities to win over the pikes compared to everyone else.
I think what it's going to come down to is just having to do lots of those like bounty missions for the pikes.
Yeah, and gathering data and then going to a pike merchant and offering it to them to get rep, stuff like that. Because I feel like, especially for Crimson Dawn, I felt like they were intentionally pushing you towards Crimson Dawn. Like they were more involved in the story. You had way more opportunities to get on the good side of Crimson Dawn because they were just everywhere.
I really like Cave S. I really like Nyx. I thought the story was really good.
Oh yeah, love it.
I thought it's like one of the most authentic feeling Star Wars games I've ever played. Like you really felt like you were in the original trilogy, and it like
yeah, especially the Jabba the Hutt missions. Those were really good.
I'm just saying, when you are crawling through the vents in Jabba's palace, there is a point in time where there's a room that you go by. Look in that room because there is someone really cool in there. And I kind of like was a little giddy about it. I was really excited.
I took selfies.
I actually am so sad that I didn't think to go into photo mode because I could have probably gotten a way better view. I don't know if you can in photo mode go outside of the vent. And I kind of regret that.
Yeah, I was taking full advantage of the full mode. Like as soon as I was free, I was in the room with Java. I would start exploring and doing photo mode stuff
Yeah.
while I was in there.
I mean, seeing Han in the carbonite, that's not like a spoiler, guys. It's in like literally promo.
Yeah,
Seeing Han in the carbonite was sick. When I found Lando, it was sick. Like again, these are things that are just in the promo. You should know they're there, not
but
spoiler.
how addicted to Sabak did you get? Be honest.
I did not remotely understand it at first, and then when I had to play it for Lando, I'm like, damn, like what am I doing? I'm like, oh, I get it. Oh, now I can cheat. Oh, okay. So I haven't actually gone through and done a lot of Sabak, but I could see myself going back and playing it.
So I figured that you spoiled Casual Avenger.
He
Uh,
deserves it.
so I figured I
He's
would
a snitch.
play around with Sabak a little bit. I wanted to understand the rules because I wanted to enjoy the game more. And once I got the rules, I started playing it more, and I just kind of started getting hooked on Sabak, and I'm like, oh
I
no,
think I have an actual deck of Sabak cards that came with like
nerd.
a collector's edition of KOTOR.
It's a fun game when you get into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would give the game a 6 out of 10 because there are problems. Okay, the AI can be very bad, like very
100%.
bad. Okay, um, I feel like some of the like places they want you to go, if you don't go in the exact way they want you to, like there are ways that like I should be able to climb up this wall. There's
Yeah,
no reason why I shouldn't be able to climb up this wall, and it just won't let you.
because of limitations to the mechanics and the interaction to the environment.
And because they want you to go a certain way, you
Yeah.
know, and it doesn't always like spell it out for you, you know. I don't know if you did the Jet Cordo missions, but like you find like a hologram or holograph or something on the
Mhm.
ship. He was the original owner of the ship,
I've
and
I found it. I didn't do the mission chain yet.
it is maddening, okay? Because like you have to look at this picture, like, and of course I was doing it at the wrong angle. If you bring it down, you can maybe recognize where that is on the map, but it's just like a like kind of a skyline like view, and you're supposed to know where that location is on the map. And like then you have to go there and find a little rock and tune it. Okay. It was honestly, I could not wait for that to be over. There were a couple of them that were very easy. Um, so but like there were a couple of them that were just like the one in the desert in Tatooine. I'm like, I don't know how I found it. I really don't. Like, because it did not make sense. But then there's the one on Akiva where it actually looked really easy. I was like, oh, I know where that is. That's like they even mentioned it when you drove by it once. It's the witch's finger or something
Yeah.
like that. Like that's where it is. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, I just feel like there's just way too many situations that took me driving circles around locations to try to figure out where I'm supposed to go. And I'm not saying I need my hand held the whole way, but like there were ways that I realistically should have been able to get to where I wanted to go, and the game just wouldn't let me. And
Yeah.
it made no sense.
I think I literally think it was mostly limitations because I was the more I played, the more I realized, yeah, because of probably they also just wanted to get the game out faster, and because of how big the game is, they definitely cut some corners and had some restrictions, not just on the graphics, but in how interactive environments were. It's definitely something I picked up on. Because I am a stealth gamer, I gave it an 8. I really enjoyed the story. I love the progression, the mission for the most part. I love the mission design. And I do look forward to exploring more and playing more of the content. And I felt that if the game had more polish, in a lot of ways, it could have been a truly great game. But it really is like you at least very least you could it's very clear all the areas that the game fell short on.
I I want to give it a 7. I like, honestly, you're right. With a couple of different things, I could get there. I want to get there. And I thought I would. I love a lot about the game. Like, I would murder for Nyx, okay?
100%.
But like,
I have murdered for Nyx.
yeah. So like, like that mission in Jabba's palace,
Oh,
yeah, blood boiling.
I was I was shooting everything. I was killing
I was
everyone.
absolutely okay with the outcome.
Yeah,
You
100%.
know, like, I was like, no, you give me my goddamn Nyx back. And then when I lost my bat sense, I was like, how am I even playing this game? So yeah,
I didn't care. I was like, I'm gonna kill anyone in front of me. I don't need the Nyx sense. I'm gonna murder you all.
yeah. So like, there's a lot I really, really love about the game. Oh, there's a Nyx plushie for $40. Oof. Don't tell me that. Nyx is definitely the BD1 of this game, you know?
Don't compare Nyx to that slop. That's
I do prefer those games over this one. Even though I think they hit it out the park with the open world.
I love how they did the I think that should obviously my preference was they do a Mandalorian game, and I still hope they do, especially with this type of design. I thought the Jedi Survivor, the Jedi series, definitely better in terms of combat. I actually thought the Outlaws story was better than the story of Jedi Survivor. I just like the combat a lot more in Survivor. But if we're talking about like the world, the exploration, the plot, I actually enjoyed that much more in Outlaws than Jedi Survivor. I thought Fallen Order had my favorite of the series in terms of story wise, but I thought the story of Outlaws was fantastic, and I wish more Disney Star Wars properties had stories at least that good these days.
Yeah, I think it's worth buying. I think you're gonna have a good time with it if you just understand it's a primarily stealth-based game. The AI is gonna be wonky from time to times, and there are also times that I was a little annoyed that I had to like use my speeder. I'm like, why are there not more fast travel locations?
No, you can't, Travis. No, I don't care.
And like, and especially Akiva, like,
mm,
that map is not good for speedering, you know? Like, it's just so many things. Like, I just felt like it made me have to go out of my way to get to where I wanted to be. So minor complaints, but like, yeah, I don't know.
I was speedering all over. I enjoyed the one thing I didn't like about the speeder is the fact that you can't shoot enemies while riding the speeder or steal other speeders. I thought that was dumb.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that the only way to defend yourself from attacks on the speeder is to take enough hits and dodge that you can activate your ultimate ability and shoot them. So what I would often do is I would just get off of my speeder and just shoot them
Right.
while they're riding by. I thought it was annoying, but
Right. Yeah.
I enjoyed the game. You can if you're on the fence a little or interested, you can actually sign up for the Ubisoft subscription service. I think it's like $20, and you can just immediately play Star Wars Outlaws. And if you don't like it, you can just cancel service, and it only costs you $20.
Yeah. The one thing though that is a little disappointing is there is a cloud save, but apparently the cloud save isn't cross save. Which would have come in handy if you did want to just try it out on the Ubisoft platform, but maybe you prefer playing on Xbox or PlayStation 5. You start on Ubisoft. By the way, creator code J Shockblast on the Ubisoft store.
Chill.
So
I think I have one of those too.
Yeah, I just got it all approved and it's active now. So
yeah, mine probably is too. I just haven't checked. So yeah, creator code, whatever. Just show, let us show. But yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was definitely better than the acolyte, which also made the rounds. I mean, L's everywhere. That unsurprisingly got canceled after one season.
I can't believe how much it cost them to make that.
That is astounding. I saw someone in the animation community mention that one episode of the Acolyte could fund multiple seasons of an average animated program.
Yeah.
And I was like, when I see stuff like that, I immediately just think someone's embezzling, someone's laundering money. There's no way the Acolyte was $180 million.
Right.
That's
especially because you're
outrageous.
not even like there's no like highlight actor in that is like Robert Downey Jr. making $70 million, you know?
Yeah, legitimately. Like the biggest actor on that show is Carrie Ann Moss, and she dies in the first episode.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild.
Like it's literally Carrie Ann Moss and the guy from Squid Game. Like that. Those are the big actors. Apparently, the word is that they were trying to get Keanu Reeves as well. They wanted him. Disney. They were saying Disney was suggesting that they get Keanu Reeves to play the Squid Game guy role, but the writers were not having it. They wanted Squid Game guy. So we got.
I keep hearing that they want Keanu to be Revan.
Yeah. So apparently
long-standing rumor.
Apparently they want Keanu in some capacity into Disney wants Keanu basically to do something. I've heard him thrown around for Revan. I heard the stuff about him. They wanted him to an acolyte. I've heard they want him to be Ghost Rider. From my understanding, Disney just wants Keanu Reeves, which understandable. Keanu Reeves is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I would be fine if he was Revan. I feel like Revan should be in his late 30s, early 40s, but I don't know. I'm not gonna Keanu. I'm not gonna complain because realistically, you're only gonna get about 3 movies out of KOTOR, and 3 movies with Revan.
If we get that far, slow down, Jay.
I'm just saying. And honestly, Revan is best with a mask on most of the time. I'll tell you my idea, the way if they're gonna do KOTOR, in some adaptation, I think you do a trilogy where you have them as Revan and Malak as Jedi, and they're turning to corruption, and then the Mandalorian War. Then you have Revan losing to Bastila and losing his memory and getting it all back and then fighting Malak. And then you go to the last part where you change what their canon for Revan is for what happened to him, and just do a search for Revan movie, and don't have it end with him disappearing into the future, which was stupid. I read the Revan book and I hated what they did to him. They basically had him in suspended animation for 300 years or something so that he could be in the Old Republic video game.
I feel like Disney should hire Jay Shockblast to lead the KOTOR.
Listen, I can definitely contribute there, but I don't feel like it has to be that deep. I do feel like people are gonna want the second game implemented into the whatever they do, shows, movies, whatever it may be. And I'm fine with that, but to me, KOTOR should be the story of Revan and Malak. And you can get a trilogy out of it.
Now we're talking. Apparently, yeah. Let's get some more. We need some more Star Wars anime. I feel like the best Star Wars properties in the last 15 years have been animation, either through video games or animated programs. I feel like they should definitely lean more into it because the live action just hasn't been hitting overall. It's just not been there. and doesn't seem like it's changing anytime soon. But the games, the animated stuff tends to do pretty well. So I would definitely be here for a KOTOR anime. It would definitely be cheaper than the Acolyte. that's for sure. One episode of the Acolyte could probably fund 3 seasons of a KOTOR anime. So I'm definitely on board with that. There's also a Terminator anime that just hit. I heard that's pretty good.
Yeah, I
It's
heard something
on
about
Netflix.
that too.
It's on Netflix, I believe. But yeah, I'm not as optimistic about the future of Star Wars. Marvel and DC though, they seem to be having a moment. 2025 is it has an interesting situation in here, Jay. So we have within about 2 weeks of each other at one point in 2025, we're going to have the new Jurassic World movie. We're going to then have about a week later the James Gunn Superman movie, and then about a week after that we're going to have the MCU Fantastic Four movie. Which is pretty crazy when you just looking at that. That year we're supposed to also get Avengers the same amount of stuff, but like Zootopia 2 is that year. There's going to be Now You See Me 3, which I'm personally a fan of. There's new Conjuring, new Insidious, a lot of sequels, a lot of big stuff. Brave New World, Thunderbolts, allegedly Blade. I definitely doubt that one. But but a lot of blockbusters, and that particular this I feel like that could be like the new Barbieheimer, the Trinity of Jurassic World, Superman, and Fantastic Four. That could be pretty big.
I'm kind of over Jurassic, but I mean, this is gonna have
Yeah. So
Blade and Black Widow. So
I mean, I am a sucker for Scarlett Johansson. Uh, I think the last one I saw was the first one with Chris Pratt. I definitely tuned out of the movies, but they undeniably make a lot of money. Even if they're not good, they always make money. People love dinosaurs, what I say. So that one's probably going to make a lot of money. But I feel like all eyes are going to be on Superman and Fantastic Four because they both have a lot to prove for similar reasons. Obviously, this is a very important for James Gunn. He's the new head of DC. This is the first major project to kick off his new DCU. No Henry Cavill, fresh start. Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, starting it off with Superman, just like Snyder started off with his Superman, and then Fantastic Four we've yet to have a really good Fantastic Four movie, period. And this is now the first time the MCU is taking a shot at it. A lot of expectations there as well. How you think it's going to play out, Jay? With those two.
I don't know. I honestly haven't even thought about it that much.
Great commentary.
I gotta be honest with you. I just I listen. I trust James Gunn. I've seen. Here's one thing that I don't love about today's movie filming process. I feel like I've already seen way too much of Superman. You know, like I've seen Mr. Terrific.
Right.
I've seen Hawkgirl. I've seen I think it's Guy Gardner.
Yep.
So like I feel like I wish I didn't see all that. And I understand that there's gonna be a trailer at some point and all that, but like it's Superman. It's going like people are gonna watch it. Like I saw I get all these weird like Facebook recommended posts all the time, and I happen to see one of people claiming that Superman wouldn't even pass Justice League in numbers. It won't even hit Man of Steel numbers, and I just refuse to believe that. It's freaking Superman. I mean, Corn Sweat looks great. I don't know, man.
I know. I feel like that's pretty much Snyder cultist coping, but I do think James Gunn is definitely going to probably have. I don't know if it's going to be Deadpool numbers, but I feel like 800 million is a pretty safe bet for a major James Gunn movie especially with a big IP like Superman, and that's without seeing the trailer. Like if the trailer is like really really good, then I feel like we're looking at $1 billion movie because of where it's lined up. People are thinking like, oh, that might hurt it, but I think that would be actually a good situation because it feels like 2025 is going to be a time where a lot of people potentially are going to be going to the movies again, and I feel like if you look at that schedule, you're like, oh well, Jurassic Park, Superman, and Fantastic Four. Let's make it a thing, and they'd be smart to try to capitalize on that marketing wise. I think a lot of people are going to just be going to the movies during that month, just to get out there because there's going to be so many big event movies, and I'm definitely going to be one of them. I don't know. I doubt I'll see Jurassic World, but I'll definitely be there for Superman, and I definitely want to be there for Fantastic Four as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And my without seeing a trailer, just based on James Gunn, the fantastic casting so far, I think 800 million is the floor for
I think
which would beat Man of Steel.
Yeah, I think it's gonna I I think it's gonna probably be one of the better like grossing non Batman movies.
Yeah, I think it definitely has a billion. I think it definitely has $1 billion potential, but I have to see the trailer. I forgot about Craven. Jesus Christ. Sony Marvel is not doing nearly as well, but they're not doing nearly as well. But I do think I don't know how the rest of the projects were, but I feel like the Superman project is definitely going to be good. I have a feeling that's going to be real good. The Fantastic Four I'm not as sure about. I'm not a Pedro Pascal hater like some other people. Obviously, I prefer John Krasinski, but I thought it's eventually it's going to come down to writing. Like when it comes to James Gunn's Fantastic Four, Superman, I thought the casting was fantastic, perfect casting. Can't say the same for the MCU Fantastic Four. Personally, not a fan of most of what I've seen so far. I mean, they got the right voice for Galactus. I don't like the casting for Silver Surfer. I'm kind of iffy on who they got for Sue Storm. Ben Grimm seems okay. Pedro Pascal is whatever. He's a good actor. I'm not sure. So to me, it's going to really be about the writing. Obviously, the music is fantastic, but the writing is really where the MCU has been struggling. So I'm hoping it's back on track because that's what's ultimately going to turn. I'm when it comes to James Gunn, I know he's a good writer. Obviously, he's great with casting, generally. So that I'm not particularly worried about. But the MCU, I have a lot more question marks.
Yeah. I mean, I did see a leaked photo of Thing, and that looked really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. To be fair, it's kind of hard to fuck up the thing.
Well, it could have been all CGI. I mean,
yeah.
So it doesn't look like that's gonna be the case.
Yeah, I have low expectations here. So, but after Deadpool, I'm cautiously optimistic that the MCU is turning the corner and getting it together. So I'm looking forward to it. But if not, this is a great opportunity for James Gunn to get DC back on track, at least in terms of the movies and their cinematic universe. I don't know what's going on with their video game division. We had this whole thing this week where everyone was up in arms, a lot excited, others like me disappointed. There was a report in Puck News that and they did a deep dive on WB's catastrophic financial situation, and they mentioned that there was a tie-in video game happening set in the Matt Reeves Batman universe. James Gunn came out on Threads the next day and said there's no truth to it. people were still waiting to hear what Puck News has to say, because people have pointed out that it wouldn't be the first time James Gunn debunked a rumor and it turned out that the rumor was actually true. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. But otherwise, if it is that is the case and there's no Matt Reeves Batman game, I'm more than fine with that, because I definitely have Batman fatigue. I'm tired of Batman. I'm tired of Batman games. I definitely want DC to explore more games. That James Gunn has said that they intend to have more games for his DCU. He wants to have different AAA games, and I hope they explore different DC superheroes, because I have definitely seen enough Batman games. We're getting Arkham Shadows later this year, which looks fine, but I'm tired of Batman. Please give me something else. Rocksteady is also officially seems to have moved on to their new game. Schreier reported that they were, in his article, that they had been working on the Hogwarts Legacy Director's Cut, while the management pitches a new single player game. And apparently that single player game started development in June. So officially rip Suicide Squad. Rocksteady is moving on. Hopefully that game isn't Batman, and it's also a single player game.
I hope there's never a Batman game again unless it's a Ninja.
Yes, I rarely agree with Jay Shockblast. This is the correct take.
I honestly feel like those people like ruined it for me. Like, I just don't, and I feel like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel like Rocksteady doesn't want to do Batman anymore either.
I think so too.
I feel like they're just over it, you know.
And I don't blame them at all. Please, I would literally take Kite Man at this point. I don't want another freaking Batman Batman game. Give me anyone. Green Arrow, Superman, obviously. Green Lantern, John Stewart, obviously the superior Green Lantern. Or Martian Manhunter, Lobo, something.
Well, speaking of green,
boo. That's why your voice cracked. Fuck the Celtics.
throat was dry.
By the way, I know you probably saw it, but your boy Jason Tatum got
barely trying, like putting in the minimal effort.
I don't want to hear that bullshit. This man was 4 layups in a row. Playing against some 5'11" Chinese dude.
Yeah, that shows you just how much he cared. Like, nah.
He definitely looked like he was trying.
Let me just tell you, okay, y'all are making a big mistake.
95 overall in 2K25, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, very well deserved.
Definitely not if his layup rating is high.
I mean, yeah, I feel like the layups he made when he won the NBA championship.
Actually, he famously missed a lot of layups in the play. I was actually watching a video breakdown of one of these YouTube analytics basketball channels, and they were going through the film and they were trying to figure out why Jason Tatum struggles at the rim, because it actually is, like, obviously the video was a meme of him missing all those layups, but it actually is something that happens in the game when he's very much trying. Like, he's like, especially in the final, and particularly in the finals, he missed a weird, unusual amount, especially for someone of his caliber, of just point blank layups. And it's kind of like this running theme with Tatum for whatever reason. Like, when he gets to the rim, like, he struggles to reliably finish, and it's kind of unclear why exactly. Like,
I just feel like it's like in the NBA now, everybody wants to be a 3-point specialist. So I don't know.
Is that definitely true? I mean, obviously there are some great finishers that can do both. Obviously, Steph Curry, best shooter ever, also famously one of the best. Not as talked about, but he's also one of the best finishers in the NBA in the last 20 years. Super efficient around the basket, and I feel like it might just be like a reps thing. Like, maybe it's just not something Tatum works on a lot. Obviously, he was trying to perfect his shooting. He was taking his one adjustment he made is taking less off, tough mid-range jump shots. turning those more into those step back threes. But yeah, I feel like he definitely should be in the lab working on layups this off season.
Well, I mean, it's got to be tough for him though, because he went straight from winning a world title to winning an Olympic gold medal, and also I think he just had a kid.
Congratulations if that's the case. Yeah, definitely interesting summer. Obviously, Jaylen Brown is probably
Ella May. Is that somebody famous? Ella May.
LMA. Not familiar.
I don't know. I heard this Philly caller call in about her. She is a musician, maybe.
So cute. Yeah, I've never heard of it. I've never heard of LMA. Though to be fair, I'm not tapped into all the new Gen Z music or whatever. The only new singer I know is Sabrina Carpenter.
Hold on, I think I got to play this for you.
I don't think you do.
I think shoot, if I can find it, it is hysterical.
Is it the Dustborn? If it's the Dustborn song, I already heard it.
No, it's like the biggest hater, the biggest Jason Tatum hater. Let me see if I can find it.
All your new music sucks. No, it's not that new music sucks. It's that you can argue that new pop music sucks, but because I actually am about that music life for real. Like I've made music, I've done some cool stuff, collab with some famous people, make music. I listen. I know I'm tapped in more so I know that thanks to the miracles of streaming, there's just an insane amount of music out there. So if you think music sucks, it's definitely a skill issue, and it's a reflection of your taste.
Okay, you are going to die for this. I promise you. Make sure you can hear it.
You have beef with, and why?
I fucking hate Jason Tatum so much, bro. Like I get angry. I'm sweating now, right now, currently.
Champion Jason Tatum.
Yeah, what's up, bro? You good? Wait, why you had to specify? I watch sports. I know what happened.
Why do you hate Jason Tatum?
Bro, I hate Jason Tatum one because, like I said, I'm from Philly, so I'm a Sixers fan. Not only is he always beating my team, he won the chip, and my celebrity crush since I was like 16 was LMA. That been LMA for like 8 years. I'm the only nigga who knew it though. Like it's crazy. Now he got her pregnant, and I feel like everybody just found out they was in a relationship. Whole time I was in Reddit back in like 2019 trying to find out who she dated, because for whatever reason I thought I had a chance. I'm looking at her story like, okay, she in St. Bart's this date. I'm looking at his shit. Oh, wait, he on the beach. I don't know what beach this is, but why does she met? I see a little light-skinned elbow and maybe a story or something from her. I'm like, that elbow a little tatted. I'm zooming in on his shit, bro. I'm telling you, you man. And he a handsome. I automatically hate on all handsome. I'm going to like, you feel me? Like, because I'm a little bit, but I don't put niggas that's objectively handsome. Like, wow.
No, that's
okay. I thought you would appreciate that.
That's funny as shit. You gotta respect. I like when the haters are pure and like self-aware.
Yeah, that was anyway.
That's the type of hate I can get behind.
Yeah,
I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that kind of hate.
Yeah, like I respect. It's kind of like Kendrick. I just respect the hatred.
Yeah, there's a certain. It depends on how you express that hatred. There's a certain way you could express a hatred of someone that is just hilarious and just absolutely I'm here for it.
I did think of you the first time I heard it though, because like the way he's like, why did you have to be specific? And I just like, and I mean obviously he's from Philly, so it's like okay,
whatever is it. Yeah,
I thought I sent that to you at some point, but maybe not.
Shout out to Philly. Yeah, he sound I have that level of pure hatred for LeBron. But not the whole jealousy angle. I just fucking hate LeBron. purely for the love of the game. I hate LeBron James.
Except in the Olympics. As long as USA is on that chest, I will root for anybody. I'm very patriotic.
No, I was rooting for Wembanyama. Fuck LeBron. Legitimately, I was hoping Wendy dropped 40 and France won. The only people on Team USA I was rooting for was Curry and Drew.
God, Steph Curry, man.
I
don't get to watch a lot of his games, but I think Steph Curry is on the level of Kobe for me, with like people that have broken the Celtics' hearts that I can't do anything but respect.
Whatever. And as someone who hates Boston with a passion, I definitely love Steph Curry for the fact that he can do that to Boston. I just absolutely love it.
I think it's time to ban Travis.
It's like CM Punk. Any hate for wrestling, I automatically will support unless it's against The Rock or Stone Cold or Undertaker.
I'm gonna be honest with you. A few minutes ago, you asked me a question, and I was a little preoccupied because Julia just showed up in WWE, and she's like probably one of the best female wrestlers in the world. I
have no idea who that is.
Yeah, not a lot of people do. She was in New Japan for a long time, and she is going to be a massive star.
Wrestling's not real, Jay.
It is more real than your anime.
No, it's not. No, my anime is more real than your wrestling.
I don't know about that.
100%. What's definitely real that there were questions about is the next PlayStation event, which might be the last event. I'm assuming it's the last PlayStation event of the year. It's not going to be the last PlayStation event where PlayStation is at, but the god of leaks himself, Jeff Grubb, recently revealed that we're getting another event. It's a state of play. He specified it's a show. It's not a showcase. It is a state of play. So another state of play. I believe this will be the fifth state of play of the year. Yeah, we had the two back to back earlier in the year. That the Spider-Man New Game Plus update came the day after the second one. Then we had the May state of play where we had the Marvel Rivals console beta and Astrobot premiere. So this will be the fourth state of play of the year. It looks like Sony is not doing a showcase this time around, and they're also going to be presenting at the Tokyo Game Show. We have a little bit of their schedule already. They're going to be showing off Monster Hunter Wilds and Death Stranding 2 at Tokyo Game Show. But the big thing is the state of play, because as is pretty much an open secret, Jay, the PlayStation 5 Pro is coming. The design apparently leaked. The specs, some of the specs are out there. It's pretty open secret. Developers were openly talking about it at Gamescom. PlayStation 5 Pro is coming. Looks like it's coming out in November, and the one thing remain is the official reveal and the release date. And we're assuming they're going to, in marketing tradition for Sony, they usually drop a new console reveal before the Tokyo Game Show. So we're assuming they're going to have some kind of Pro presence at the game show, but before that, we'll have the state of play, and they're going to show off the Pro, and the ponies will decide whether or not it's worth it, but also show off some games, because obviously you don't want to show off a Pro, especially if it's like $600 or $700, and not have any games to have people get excited about. So a lot of speculation there. I'm going to have my predictions. I'm curious what your predictions are, but obviously the main one people are hoping for is the Spider-Man 2 story DLC after all this time. But what are your predictions for the state of play, and are you interested in buying the Pro potentially?
I will buy it the second it goes on sale.
Oh, boom. Sony pony at heart.
Yeah, I mean, I want the best that's out, so my Best Buy card is almost paid off, so might as well use that 18 months no interest financing and get me the PS5 Pro.
Ooh, there you go.
The one thing I'm wondering though, because like those plates look a little different.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if the plates that my Spider-Man plates will convert over.
Yeah, that's why I'm hoping I can just switch them over seamlessly.
Because if not, I mean, I'm gonna probably sell this. Say it's a Spider-Man PS5, but you're getting a white controller. I ain't getting rid of my Spider-Man controller.
I'm definitely
I actually just ordered the Astrobot one because I want to retire this one. I don't want it to like break.
Right.
I don't. I like it. It looks cool. I don't know if you've actually seen the Concord controller you can get on the PlayStation Store. I would so much rather get that because it's sick. I don't care what game it is. Like that controller looks really good. But you can only get it there. So I don't know.
But how's the feel is what I want to know.
I would imagine it feels like a PlayStation controller.
We'll be sure of that.
But as far as predictions go, I mean, look, I don't have any predictions. I'm no Jeff Grubb, all right, but a guy can hope for Ghost of Tsushima too.
Amen,
brother. We got Jin looking over us back there. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like people get like their hopes up though. Like, are we really getting Spider-Man DLC? Is that really happening?
I would imagine we definitely are. For the simple fact that Insomniac is very outspoken on social media in particular. Shout out to Aaron. Mm-hmm. And they also are very familiar with the toxic side of this community.
Right.
And are definitely sick of their shit. And to me, just ignoring all the other evidence for a second, it doesn't make sense with everything Insomniac's been through for them to just not shut down the DLC rumors if they legitimately weren't doing it. Like the whole reason people were expecting DLC in the first place is because Spider-Man PS4 had 3 DLC. Right. And the Spider-Man 2 game obviously spins off different storylines that can be turned into DLC, excluding the hacking, because obviously we saw their whole roadmap, so we know what they were planning. But that aside, assuming you didn't see any of the leaks, you didn't see the debug menu in New Game Plus update, so you don't know this DLC stuff that was accidentally put in the game by Insomniac. If you don't know any of that, just looking at it from like a logical perspective, why would Insomniac fuel rumors of DLC when they can just shut it down like they did to the Eddie Brock is Venom rumors? Like they had no problem saying, nope, it's not Eddie Brock. When it came to if Venom was playable, they were obviously a lot more coy, a lot more indirect, because obviously they knew they were going to make Venom playable in Spider-Man 2 and didn't want to spoil it. But they also didn't want to be in a position where they say, oh, he's not playable, only for them to be playable, because that's something you don't want to hurt your credibility. So I feel like if they didn't plan on making story DLC or releasing any, they would have just straight up said, hey, we're coming, we're doing New Game Plus, we're going to have that but we're not planning any story DLC, and just shut that down. And instead, whenever they are asked about it on social media and they respond, they give their standard boilerplate answer of, we have nothing to announce this time, which they've said in response to the New Game Plus update, in response to various different updates that ended up coming eventually. So logically, to me, that tells me that they obviously are working on DLC and are obviously planning on releasing it, but they're obviously not ready because marketing and the whoever's running a social media account is now authorized to reveal projects that are in development, especially if the marketing team has this whole rollout planned, which presumably they do. So to me, that the fact that they refuse to just straight up say, yes, we're doing DLC, or no, we're not doing DLC, tells me they're definitely still doing DLC, and they're just waiting for whenever they're scheduled to do it. Presumably, they obviously were behind on everything because one of the worst cyber attacks in history, and they want to make sure that they're caught up on Wolverine, and polishing Spider-Man 2 and getting the DLC ready. So to me, that tells me they are just waiting for whenever they planned on releasing the DLC to announce it, which my prediction is it's coming in October.
Do you think they're going to shadow drop the DLC?
I think it's going to be a God of War Ragnarok situation where they're going to drop a trailer and it's going to come out in like probably 2 weeks later.
Okay. All right. I cringed when you said a God of War Ragnarok situation, because I absolutely do not want them to make this free.
I don't think it's going to be free.
Yeah, because they will never, like, it's already hard enough that, like, because they once gave away some skins for free, that trying to sell skins, for them, like, seem like pounding sand. I don't know. Like, I don't want them to put themselves in a position where now it becomes an expectation that DLC should be free. Yeah. I strongly, like, so many people complain about it, but it's like they are like you bought the game they promised you. Okay,
100%.
There is nothing on that box that says there was going to be DLC. There should be no expectation of DLC because it was never advertised at any point in time in any of the marketing on that box, anything. And you should have an expectation that if they're making extra content, that it is for sale, because it's not free to make.
And you had to pay for the Spider-Man PS4 DLC.
Right.
So if you're expecting this to be free, that's a skill issue. Like,
yeah. And I think that, like, listen, if PlayStation and Santa Monica, were in a position where they could just give away that Ragnarok DLC, then more power to them.
I think is the reason why I think Spider-Man 2 DLC is not going to be free is because the main difference between Ragnarok and Spider-Man 2 is that Ragnarok God of War is an original IP that Sony owns, and Spider-Man is an IP that Disney owns that Sony is licensing. So the fact all the extra margin, the margins are definitely harder to hit on a licensed Marvel game, because not only do they have to pay that Marvel licensing fee, they also have to pay Marvel a cut of all of the sales that they make in relation to the game. So Sony definitely is not going to want to give away this DLC for free, especially with so many people asking for it, because they know they're going to make an obscene amount of money off of it, and it would just be a waste. That's probably why the Flying Fresh suits aren't free yet. They mentioned that when they announced it, that they're going to be having them for sale for $4.99 for the pack, and the first 1 million goes to charity, and then eventually they're going to put them in the actual game for free. The reason why I'm assuming that they haven't done that yet is that Sony is still waiting for them to hit a certain price point in terms of their sales, because that first 1 million is basically nothing for Sony, because they have to give that away to charity. So I'm assuming then Sony is waiting for them to get to a point past that 1 million where they're comfortable with the amount of money they brought in before they remove them from the store. And I would assume those Flying Fresh suits are going to come into the game as part of the DLC. When they announced Spider-Man 2 DLC, I'm assuming they're going to also say the Flying Fresh suits will be in the game as well as part of that new update, and then they're going to announce the pricing, which I'm assuming is going to be about maybe $10 per DLC, or maybe like they'll sell them as a pack or something like that, which would make sense.
Was a 3-pack before, like 40?
I think it was $30.
Okay.
For all of them, which to me is more than fair. If we're getting 3 DLC stories, yeah, we're good on that. So $10 a piece. I'm expecting that point. I think the Flying Fresh suits will be taken out of the store because at that point you're selling DLC. You've had them in the store for a while. You can just remove them, put them back, put them in the game, and just focus on bringing in that money from DLC because you know you're going to make a lot for that DLC. I know the second they go on sale, I will have them. I'll have them. I don't know if Sony was going to send them to me, but I have absolutely no problem buying them. Regardless,
Yeah, I'll just buy them. I'm not worried about it.
I mean, I'm not worried either. Obviously, they're not going to run out, but I have no, I have no problem buying DLC. I've very much committed to continuing Spider-Man. I've obviously made a ton of money off of Spider-Man too, so I'm not worried about that that either. I didn't even pay for the base game, so I'm perfectly fine paying for the DLC if I have to. I'm just looking forward to playing it because I'm excited for more Spider-Man 2. I think the direction of the story can be really cool, and I'm looking forward to fighting Carnage and all that other good stuff. But I think they announced it. I think they announced it at the State of Play, and it releases in October, maybe November at the latest. I think they're going to target October, and it'll be about
listen.
about 10,
I'm
about 10
all about it.
About $10 a piece. For the rest of the show should be interesting. Ghost. I'm coping, but I'm hoping for Ghost of Tsushima 2. I feel like that because there was a reliable. I think it was from Shinobi. He mentioned that there are 2 major first-party PlayStation games dropping in 2025, and not like a Death Stranding 2 or Stellar Blade situation, where it's like it's not a first-party Sony thing. It's like we're not a Sony studio, but we're basically partnering with Sony for this release. It's not that he said straight up big major first party studios dropping major AAA games in 2025 for Sony. So immediately I thought of Sucker Punch and Ghost of Tsushima 2 because I think based on the timing, we can 100% see Ghost of Tsushima 2 release in 2025. I think Wolverine could be a long shot. I think because of the hack, Wolverine may have been pushed to 2026. We'll see how fast they can work to get it through because from what I've heard, it's not nearly as big a game as Spider-Man. They're not planning to make a massive open world game. It's going to be more linear, more comparable to God of War, which
that makes sense though.
Yeah, which doesn't make sense for a Wolverine game. So I'm definitely for that. So that could potentially make it possible for 2025, but I would lean 26. If we're looking at any other potential games, I'm not sure that would be potentially ready if we're talking first party in 2025. I guess Bungie is technically now a first party studio, and I heard Marathon is honestly fucked. But,
yeah,
but
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. When I saw Marathon, whatever they showed,
yeah, I was not impressed.
I was not remotely interested.
Yeah, and that's exactly apparently what everyone they brought into playtest have said.
I feel like that is a Concord in waiting.
Yeah,
maybe not like as deep, but it could be. You know what I mean?
I've heard they've scaled way down on that game, and
yeah, I read something about that.
Yeah, it's not looking good for that. So I don't think Shinobi was referencing Concord. I mean, well, it's going to be Concord too. Marathon. I think I know Ben's studio, the ones who did Days Gone. They've been working on an original IP that's not a sequel to Days Gone. So it could be that game. We know there were a bunch of Horizon projects that were supposed to be in development. I know the Netflix series got canceled, but I think they're still doing the multiplayer game. Obviously, the Lego one comes out in November, but maybe multiplayer Horizon could be ready depending on how long they've been working on it. I don't think Horizon 3 is anywhere near ready. I've heard Santa Monica is working on a new game. I don't know if that'll be ready unless it's like a Miles Morales sized Atreus spinoff. I don't see them dropping anything in 2025. So it kind of feels like Bend and Sucker Punch got whatever their new IP is, and Ghost of Tsushima 2. Maybe Wolverine if Insomniac is superhuman and like manage to push through and get it, and they're confident they'll have it ready by 2025. But I think the state of play potentially could be better than people think, but I'm trying to keep my expectations in check of what I expect to see. I don't think they're going to show a ton of games like Phantom Blade Zero. I don't think that's showing up because I heard that's like 2026, maybe 27.
It's weird. It's weird to say that though, because like I've played it.
Yeah,
know?
Which is weird when I heard that that's their timeline, but apparently that's their timeline. So maybe,
I also don't know that that's a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, it feels like it would be, but we'll see.
Well, I asked one of the devs about it, and they didn't say no.
I think it is. Maybe they can't talk about it, but I would expect it's going to be PS5 day one, maybe PC day one potentially. I don't think it's coming to Xbox anytime.
Like I asked specifically, I'm like, oh, is this a PlayStation exclusive or is it going to be on Xbox? And he said he didn't say no. I don't remember the exact wording of it, but he led me to believe that Xbox was a possibility.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that. I don't think
also spoke Japanese, so
that too.
I don't know. Maybe he got mixed up, but whatever. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's going to be
Speaking of Xbox, apparently they have 2 Transformer games in development.
Yeah, I'm questioning. I'm skeptical about that one. I think because obviously that one had no source from what I could tell, but I think that might be that Activision Blizzard thing where they're trying to bring back old Transformer games and Marvel games as well,
which I would love because my brother just bought like 6 Xbox 360 Spider-Man games, and I haven't played some of them before, and I would actually love to do playthroughs of them, but I do not feel like loading up my my 360.
Indiana Jones, another fun PS5 game coming to look for.
I don't really know. I don't really know why people are mad about that. I mean,
it's Xbox fans; they're always going to be mad.
Like, I really don't care. Like where I feel like games should be played where you want to play them. I don't care if it's coming out on Xbox first and then it'll be out on PlayStation later. I don't think that's a big deal.
I feel like most people don't care. I feel like it's literally just the console war fanboys because they were telling themselves when they when those rumors started coming out about Xbox porting exclusives over, they didn't want to admit to themselves that that's basically the end of the console war because they made that obviously their entire personality. But when that was confirmed, they said, "Oh well, it's not going to be anything good like Indiana Jones." So they were acting like Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves weren't good or anything like that. They're like, "Oh, it's not going to be anything good like Indiana Jones." Suck it, pony. And then when it was Indiana Jones, they was like, "What? What the fuck, man?" Like, bro, they made it very clear they're done with the console war. They're a multi-platform publisher now. Like, it is what it is. Deal with it. Like, they're focused on Game Pass. They're not focused on the console. They know the console isn't selling. They have plans to just go all in on cloud gaming. So this is what it is. They're more concerned with getting their games in front of as many people as possible than trying to beat PlayStation and Nintendo in a platform off, which they know they're not doing. Like that's.
I don't even think it matters though. Like I'm honestly actually like some of the Dell Walker posts have me kind of like questioning. Like the Xbox Series S was a bad idea. It seems like.
Awful idea.
Yeah, I feel like that's held them back a lot.
It's held a lot of stuff back. Yeah,
and I actually believe, and I'm sure this is not something they can probably legally do. I think that they should classify it on the level as the Xbox One X, like a slight upgrade from that, and kind of remove it from the S/X. I think labeling.
I literally think they should do that, and I think I think they're going to release maybe one more console, and I don't think they're going to do that Series S thing again. There's definitely going to be all digital, but they're very much recognize that we're all about Game Pass and PC, and they're going to lean more into that in the future, which I'm fine with. And let Nintendo have the handheld market. Sony has the console market. and they're probably right. Eventually, cloud gaming is going to get to a point where consoles aren't really necessary, and that's what they're betting on. But for now, Sony is in chart is dominating that aspect. Eventually things will change, but for now, yeah, expect more Xbox games to be coming on every platform, which I'm perfectly fine with. Obviously, Sony's not going to do the same because they have no reason to, but is what it is.
Well, that implies Sony games come out.
Yeah, which they will, but Sony seems to be committed to their current strategy of PlayStation getting as many PlayStation exclusives as possible while also getting into the PC ecosystem. That seems to be their current strategy. I hope Fable comes to PS5. Well, I hope first and foremost, I hope Fable's good. I don't care where Fable releases. I just hope the new Fable game is actually good. I don't care where it comes out. I'm sure it will be on PS5, but I'm more concerned with it not being a good game because if it's not a good game, I'm not getting it no matter what it comes out on. I just want a good Fable game again, and I'm currently not sure if it's going to be. From what I've seen so far, I'm not sure. I'm about as confident in Fable, in the new Fable being good, as I am in Fair Games outselling Concord. I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50. I think there's a good chance that Fair Games is at the state of play, and if it's not, I think that's a sign that they're like reevaluating those remainder of those Jim Ryan live service projects after Concord.
Ooh, why is Nightbot hating on Q?
Q must have triggered the Nightbot command.
Looks like
been up to no good. I don't know. Was it a emo thing? Or who knows?
It must have been.
Yeah, I have to put more moderation on Twitch because Twitch has weirdos on there. But
listen, you don't. You got a taste of what weirdos are really like.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen plenty, but yeah, we both have our fair share of weirdos. Yours are particularly dedicated.
Yeah.
Mid games is probably the best case scenario for Fair Games. Yeah, like I said, we didn't see any gameplay, but people were not a fan of the diverse group of teenagers talking about eating the rich while committing robbery in their corporate live service slop. They weren't a fan of those themes. So I don't know how well this one's going to go. Competitive. They mark, at least it's not a hero shooter. It's they described it as a competitive heist game. So we'll see how that turns out, but I'm definitely not confident in that one. Sony's live service players might be cooked. They might have to reevaluate some things.
I have honestly not very interested in extraction shooters. And I think that's to think that they might have had, if it's an extraction shooter, to think that they have Marathon and that both in development.
And there's supposed to be some other Bungie stuff that's cooking up, but yeah, they've spent a lot of money, billions of dollars, I think, on live service development, and including the acquisition of Bungie, and they have nothing to show for it except if it wasn't for Helldivers, they would have literally nothing to show for it.
Imagine if Helldivers didn't take off the way it did, how disastrous this year would have been for Sony.
Oh yeah. In terms of live service, yeah. Like, because they didn't have any major first party games. They, like Stellar Blade did really well for them. Rise of Ronin was okay. Obviously, Black Myth Wukong is a massive hit, but it's not a true exclusive. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth might win Game of the Year, but it also wasn't like a massive hit, and it made Square reevaluate their exclusivity arrangements because it didn't hit their sales expectations. So yeah, the Helldivers was definitely a big W for Sony, and even that is tainted because they fumbled the bag and couldn't maintain it. So that's been tough because yeah, all their other live service efforts have been disaster. Foam Star lasted a month, if barely. It did not go anywhere. Obviously, Concord is a historic disaster. I'm not expecting much from Fair Games. We found out the Great Web and Twisted Metal live service games were canceled. Obviously, The Last of Us Factions, Naughty Dog decided to not do that one anymore. Marathon, apparently, literally everyone hates it. Like they cannot find a single person that likes Marathon in playtesting. Like Bungie is collapsing because under all these controversies, and it's a mess.
Yep.
Is not looking. They definitely need to get back to their roots, get some good single player story games out there, pushing and moving, because the live service stuff doesn't look like it's popping right now, which is kind of their fault. They should have made Marvel's Avengers 2. I mean, if they had just made Marvel's Avengers 2,
everything would have been right in the world.
Brought back Marvel Heroes.
Seriously. I don't know.
How would I save Bungie? I would fire that dumbass CEO, whose ever idea was the luxury car guy. I would replace that dumbass immediately,
and then have a pizza party.
Yeah. From everything I've read, literally the only problem with Bungie is their leadership. They have incredibly talented devs and really terrible leadership. They have absolutely no fucking idea what they're doing, except for making themselves richer. That seems to be their main problem. They are horribly mismanaging Bungie, and that's the core of the issue. And the reason why things haven't gotten better is because they face zero accountability. We're hearing that Sony is basically absorbing Bungie. That's why we're getting all these additional layoffs, and we still haven't heard about a major change in leadership, which is what's needed ultimately. But yeah, until then, Bungie's future looks definitely a little murky because, I mean, honestly, they should have just did Destiny 3, right? They should just move. Like, after they acquired, they kind of should have just did Destiny 3, right? After they went to Sony, like, why are we doing Marathon?
Right. Well, I mean, I understand, like, not wanting to be pigeonholed. It's like the same reason that, like, Chris Evans is like, oh, I don't want to be Captain America anymore. You ask why wouldn't you want to be one of the biggest characters in the world and keep making money off those movies? And he's just like, I just want to do something else,
Yeah.
And sometimes it just is that way.
And now him and Robert Downey Jr. came back to the MCU, so it is what it is. Like, and I feel like when it comes to an actor, like, that's like, that's whatever, do whatever you want. But if you're running a business, especially one as risky as gaming, where there's so much money being put up, like, if you're hearing, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm paying you to make games. If you don't want Destiny, if you don't want to make Destiny, go to another studio and make another game. We're making Destiny 3, whether you want to or not. If we have enough resources left over to make another project, you can work on that project. But we're making Destiny 3 because we just spent billions of dollars acquiring Bungie, and we need a surefire hit live service game to justify this giant purchase to our shareholders. So we're making Destiny 3, whether you like it or not. That's what the conversation should have been.
You would think.
But what do I know? I'm just a guy who makes videos in my bedroom. I'm sure there's a perfectly legitimate reason why instead of making Destiny 3, they had their resources dedicated to making an extraction shooter that literally nobody wants. So, like, I'm sure there's a perfectly big brain reason why that's happening.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I have no interest in it.
Yeah, I saw the trailer at the showcase, and I was the whole time thinking, "What the fuck is this?" like I don't know what this is. Like I like I was like, okay, it's a game from Bungie, so I'm guessing it's like some kind of FPS. The trailer told me nothing. I was like, what is this?
Well, to be fair, Concord's trailer was absolutely dope until
Yeah.
it wasn't.
And also told us nothing. But
Yeah.
at least it told us nothing in a way that, oh, maybe this could be interesting, you know, because you heard, oh, it's a sci-fi, and it's inspired by Guardians of the Galaxy. You're like, ooh. And with Marathon, you hear, oh, it's an extraction shooter from Bungie. Oh, we had Tarkov players come test it and they hate it. Oh, well, okay. Like, okay. that's not a good sign.
And I don't even think Tarkov is like a high standard, you know?
Yeah.
Like people play Tarkov and like that game is not really a graphical masterpiece by any stretch, you know?
No.
Even for being PC only, you know?
And people also have a lot of issues with Tarkov. Their, you know, obviously their activities have not been great over the last year, but yeah, that's still a very popular game in that genre. And yeah, the players that they had tested said they would absolutely not stop playing Tarkov to play Marathon. So that's definitely not what you want to hear. Where you're making at, it is what it is.
No, I don't think TT. If TT does a reveal this year, I think it's gonna be at the Game Awards.
Yeah, definitely would be at the Game Awards. Yeah, so the Game Award, so State of Plays do have some third party stuff, but it's usually like not like big reveals for third party. When State of Plays happen, they tend to be updates on games third party games that have already been announced already. So, you know, that's why we had the Marvel Rivals one at the last State of Play. So I wouldn't expect a world premiere third party game at a State of Play. It would definitely be like at Jeff Keighley's Game Awards. The only world premieres I would expect at a State of Play are Sony games, not anyone else's games. They would have it somewhere else. Maybe they'll have a new update for an existing game, but it won't be at obviously Death Stranding 2 is going to have some new trailers. There's going to be some more information on Monster Hunter Wilds, but not like a world premiere of this new game. It's not happening at State of Play unless it's Sony. And we're obviously both hoping that world premiere is Ghost of Tsushima 2, but we can only pray and dream. So I think it should be like happening. Jeff Grubb said by the end of September. He doesn't have a precise date yet, so I would expect we get an official announcement sometime in the next 3 weeks. So I'll be on the lookout for that. I'm looking forward to it. We also I made a Invincible video today, Jay. But what do you think of what's going on in Invincible? They have I know I think you were not the biggest fan of the show. Which is, you know, obviously no one's perfect. Everyone has flaws, but sorry to deal with. Actually, me and Jay are playing it after this podcast ends. So,
Yeah, it's multiplayer.
yeah, we'll send it to you afterwards, Lejeune. But season 3, there was famously a big gap of 2 years between last seasons, but season 3 looks like of Invincible's coming out next year. They're finally going to show off Blue Suit Mark, which comic fans have been waiting for. It's supposed to be epic. But there's a live action Invincible game in the movie in the works that's been in development for the last 5 years. We got an update on that. They're taking their time. Kirkman said he wants it to be perfect. He doesn't want to half-ass it, which definitely good to hear. And of course, we had the information about the AAA Invincible game, which I feel like you're probably more interested, Jay, from your end of potential Superman light game.
Yeah, I would rather play an Invincible game than watch the Invincible show.
Personally, I'm a man that does both, but
I just don't. I watched like the first 2 episodes of the more recent Invincible season and never cared enough to finish.
well,
Like,
I love I love the show. I'm definitely looking forward to the game. I've heard the usual funny stuff about, oh, you can't make a Superman like game doesn't work because he's strong. And it's like, no, that's no. That's not a thing. Definitely not a problem with Mark. He gets beat up literally all the time. But this game sounds like it's gonna be big. Obviously legitimately AAA. There was some confusion about because they did that crowdfund campaign. People were confused. Is this
weird.
which I clarified on in my video earlier. So it was basically meant to be a small campaign to give fans just an opportunity to basically feel like they're part of the team, and maybe contribute some money to hire some devs. It's a site geared more towards retail investors, and they weren't looking for that campaign to fund the actual game. It was just more so, hey, if you want to support Skybound, you are interested in what we're doing with this game stuff, you can donate, you can get some perks, and you can say that you contributed to us hiring people for this studio we're putting together to develop this game. Cool, that because they actually have traditional venture capital backing them. One of their backers is actually Skydance Interactive. You might recognize them. Very, very big company. They own Skydance New Media, which is Amy Hennig's project division, where she's making the 1943 Rise of Hydra. So big money behind the AAA Invincible game. I'm not worried about that aspect of it. I'm just more interested in the type of game it would be. There was recently an interview at Gamescom Latin America where the CEO of Skybound was being asked about the game, and mentioned they were asked specifically about the challenges of making a game like this. Specifically, they said, building a game around Superman can be difficult because you have to either nerf him or make all his enemies like super strong. And the NCO mentioned that, oh well, if only there was a race of super strong beings that Mark has trouble fighting. So obviously we're going to be fighting the Viltrumites in this Invincible game as expected, because they did emphasize the story DLC is going to be a big part of their business plan for the game. But it just always annoys me when I hear people say, oh, Superman's too strong to make a game because he can only be hurt by kryptonite. No, he can't. No, it's not true. It's not.
Magic
And electricity and blunt force trauma and like a million other things in the DC universe. Like, he's not invincible. Like, I feel like these people, like, maybe they've like looked at one panel, or they saw, like, they heard about pre-crisis Superman or Superman Prime 1 million or whatever, and they thought that's like the standard Superman. Like, no. Like, you can hurt Superman. You just have to be like, obviously Bob from IKEA isn't going to hurt Superman, but if you're strong enough, you can definitely hurt Superman. Like, he's not some, and he's a god relative to normal humans, but he can absolutely be hurt by by things that aren't kryptonite or the red sun. Like like he get like other Kryptonians, just general strong metahumans,
mean tweets.
Like Superman is not invisible. I actually saw this funny panel on Twitter recently where Superman fought Dracula, and it was like this really interesting interaction with their powers. So because Dracula is magic, he can bite Superman, but because Superman's cells have solar energy flowing through them, when Dracula bit Superman, he exploded. Which I thought was fucking hilarious.
Have you ever seen the Moon Knight Dracula memes?
I have not. I've only seen the Moon Knight Venom meme.
Oh God, I hope I have them saved. There's some of them that are really good, but big theme of it is Dracula.
I love a good Moon Knight meme.
Let's see.
Moon Knight has the best memes.
Oh, I do have them saved. All right, actually, I have it saved as Moon Knight jokes.
I agree with this. I'd rather have Flash over Superman if given the choice.
All right, let's see. Hello, Mark. You still crazy? A little bit. You still murdering people? A little bit. How's your imaginary god? How's your dead family?
I saw this one before.
Yeah. Hey, Moon Knight, the new Venom trailer dropped. I don't care. Shit, I don't care either. Hold on. Where are we at? Oh, yeah. Someone's hacking the system, but who? Moon Knight? Where's my goddamn money? No one here owes you money, you drunk, crazy asshole. Dracula isn't even on the Avengers. Wait, Dracula isn't an Avenger? That lying fuck.
There's Winter Soldier Cap. Love that suit.
Hold on. Here. This is the famous one. I know you're here, Dracula, you big fucking nerd. Where's my goddamn money? Yeah, I have like a bunch of these saved.
I love Moon Knight. Can't wait to see him in Marvel Rivals.
Sorry to hear you Disney dropped you, Arachno Man. Feel free to watch my new Disney Plus series from your shack or wherever the fuck it is you live now. Also, you owe me $12 for this handshake. There's like a lot of these.
These are great.
This is a random drug test. Hand over urine sample, Spider-Man. What? I don't work for you, dipshit. Funny, that's exactly what someone who is off their tits on ketamine would say. I could pull off being in a fun MC movie with lots of jokes. For the last time, cutting Bushman's face off wasn't funny. I laughed. I think that's all I got. There's like a lot. There's a lot of like a Moon Knight Dracula like jokes like that out there. I think there's even like a Twitter that like post them. It's funny.
Those are great. We definitely need more Moon Knight. Definitely hope we get more Moon Knight in the MCU. Just better than what we got. I thought the Oscar Isaac casting was great, but obviously the writing fell off halfway through, which we found out why. Because apparently they literally switched creatives like halfway through,
right?
And the one who was removed from the project ended up on X-Men 97. So we know which of the two were the more talented.
Well, the dude that was on X-Men 97 apparently
allegedly. So which we still have. Do we get an update on that? Because that's a hell of a thing to suggest and not have any other support. Like literally, all I've heard is that there was nothing, and then when he makes another fuss, they say, "Well, actually, you were making women uncomfortable or something."
Yeah, I don't think it was quite what are they saying? BBL Drizzy.
Yeah, we don't. Well, yeah. I'm curious exactly what it was because he's an extraordinarily not straight individual. So I'm not sure exactly what. And I feel like Disney was vague enough to potentially avoid a lawsuit without like actually saying what it was, because the umbrella of things that what he was allegedly fired for could fall under is pretty wide. like doesn't like, and I feel like they were just relying on Twitter to use their imagination and fill in the worst possible scenario. So I'm definitely not pulling out the pitchforks yet.
Yeah, because
this is Disney we're talking about. They literally were trying to fuck over someone whose family was trying to sue because
that was terrible.
Yeah, because he was at a Disney resort restaurant and they served him food that he was allergic to, even though he specifically said, I'm allergic to this, and they guaranteed they wouldn't have it in there. He died because of it. And when they tried to sue, they said, actually, we're not liable because you signed up for Disney Plus one time.
That's
So,
crazy.
so absolutely fuck Disney.
Yeah.
I don't believe anything they say.
Yeah.
especially we're talking about when it comes to issues of morality. I'm going to assume that they're looking into their own interests until I see some hard evidence. But I think that's all I had for this week. I think we're all caught up, Mr. Shockblast.
My latest edition, the Aviation Wolverine edition.
Drink responsibly,
I'm never opening this.
as you shouldn't.
Goes right with my Deadpool version.
Well, I'm gonna.
I mean, honestly, after what happened the other day, I'm sure you saw it, like in the NHL.
I don't know. Hockey's not real.
Okay, well, you're gonna feel bad after I say this. One of the best players in the league was killed by a drunk driver.
Oh, that's terrible.
What's even more terrible is him and his brother were riding bikes. A drunk driver hit them both, killed them both, and they were there for their sister's wedding the next day.
Oof.
So, yeah. Betcha wish you could have that hockey joke back now.
No, I still hate hockey, but that's very sad. Still
Yeah.
separately very sad.
Yeah, fucking terrible. So,
Yeah, fuck drunk drivers.
yeah. So, in any event, another great show in the book.
Thank you for ending it on a depressing note.
You're welcome,
Mr. Professional Broadcaster.
Yeah, anytime, Listen, we gotta reel them back in for next time.
Yep, next time. Well, it's September, so who knows what's going to happen? I know there's going to be a big couple weeks in gaming. Astrobot reviews are going to be coming soon, and then the full game is dropping. Of course, we have Space Marine 2, NBA 2K25, and of course the pending announcement of the PlayStation 5 Pro. So we'll keep you updated on our individual channel, what have you, if anything happens, and we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah. And to answer Travis's question, it was Johnny Gaudreau from the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yep, rest in power, my good man. All right, so we'll catch y'all next week. Hopefully, we got some PlayStation announcements to talk about next week, but it does seem a little early, so maybe the week after. We'll see. I'm Sadat the Gamer.
I am Jay of Shock Blast.
Zip it up and zip it out. Fuck Boston.